Okay, here is our first slide. It is going to be drop testing overhead rolling or sliding fire doors. This is the product that I'm talking about right here, folks. I usually just call them overhead fire doors because it's a fire door in what the code is calling a fire rated wall. That's why you have a fire door. Not all overhead doors are fire doors. The door only needs to be a fire door if the wall needs to maintain a fire rating per the code of whatever authority having jurisdiction is wherever that building is located. Now, in my case, we're going to be doing the testing with this device right here, which is the Liftmaster LM21XP, and it is an overhead fire door release control device. Here's a picture of it. I just paid $521.99. I'll give you links in the description if you want to buy them yourself. So what it does, so here it gives you information about what the Liftmaster does, but basically it's a control release device. How often is the testing required? It's required annually per NFPA 80. That's a National Fire Protection Authority, okay, or agency. Now let's go on to slide 2. Now, here is the actual fire door I was working on. This is the old control mechanism, which is a Firefly. I replaced that with the Liftmaster LM21XP in the video that you're going to see shortly on the testing. So there's two videos. One is the installation of the device. One video is going to be on the testing. This one is the testing video. Now, here is the chain that is connecting the fire device to the drop control mechanism of the fire door. Now, this is a pictorial example of what you could install. Now, this is the releasing device, in my case, the LM21XP. Then they show a fusible link on the chain, and then they have that incorporated with a system that goes through the wall, and then they have another fusible link on the opposite side, and then they have two fusible links in addition to that one fusible link right there on this side. It seems like they went like way overboard on the number of fusible links. But this system that you're seeing in this picture is like the Cadillac of systems, and you don't need that much of a system. My system in Orange County, California doesn't have all that. What I have is I've got the releasing device, I've got one fusible link, I have one chain going right down to the drop control mechanism of the overhead fire door. That's it. Now, this is going like above, way above code, where it gives you additional protection. If there's a sprinkler smoke detector on each side of the door, which there should be, or either smoke detector or heat detector, some device, something that's communicating with the fire alarm control panel, that is going to be communicating with this release device that's going to tell the door to drop. That's one way that the door can drop. The second way is that if this system is malfunctioning and it's not dropping the door for whatever reason, and there's an actual fire, and this is a fire rated wall per code, then you have fusible links that will melt at a certain temperature, allowing the door to drop. And you have to have them on each side of the wall. Now, you do not require that if you have the releasing device. You can pause the video, you can read all this information right here. But if you have the releasing device, which is the Liftmaster LM21XP, then you don't need to go through the wall, and you don't need to have this massive chain assembly that they are showing you here in the picture. But you do have to have it on, at least on your side of the wall, because you have to have a chain that goes from the releasing device to the door drop control mechanism, and one fusible link located as high as practical on your system. Now, if you did have a system that went through the wall, had fusible links on both sides of the door, then you do not even require the releasing device like the Liftmaster LM21XP, which, by the way, that's how I would do it. Having the Liftmaster LM21XP or any other releasing device is a pain in the butt. If you lose electricity to the releasing mechanism, you're going to drop the door. Then you have to reset the door. Resetting the doors, and especially if you've got multiple, which I do at this facility, I got like 9 of them, it takes a lot of time in order to reset the door and reset the limits. It's a large inconvenience just because for some reason you lost electricity going to your releasing device. If you did not have the releasing device and all you had was the chain with the fusible links on each side of the door, that would be much more efficient, less nuisance trips. You're only going to drop the door in that case if the chain fails or the fusible link fails, or if there's an actual fire in which you want it to drop to prevent the spread of that fire, which is the whole purpose of this system. Now, here is your practical pass-fail checklist that when you're doing your testing that you want to be on the lookout for. Number 1, label your visible and legible. So is there a label? Is it visible? Is it legible? The rating appropriate to the wall. No unauthorized field modifications on the fire door. The curtains, the guides, the curtain, end locks, bottom bar, hood, brackets, shaft in good condition and properly fastened. You're going to operate the door. Before you do your testing, we're going to operate the door up and down just to make sure the door is working properly anyways. No foreign attachments on the door, the guides, the hood, the barrel, or the bottom bar. Generally speaking, you're not going to have any foreign attachments anyways, but per code, you can't have them anyways. Automatic closing system is present, intact, and not obstructed. The fusible link is not painted, that's important, or containment release cables are free and not tied off. The door area clear of obstructions and combustibles that would interfere with the closing or reduce fire separation. The door operates smoothly under normal operation. You're going to do 2 tests. Drop test number 1, door release from the fully open, closes automatically, fully seats on the sill at a speed between 6 and 24 inches per second. And then the door reset per manufacturer's instructions. So you're going to reset the system. Then you're going to do drop test number 2. Repeat, release, confirm full closure, and correct speed again. No damage. All defects corrected. The test documented and signed by the trained technician with a copy kept on site for at least 3 years. All right, that's it for the classroom presentation. Now we'll go on to the video. All right, so I'm going to demonstrate this now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the slack out here of the arm. I have to reset, I have to hold that up. While I'm holding that up, I'm going to insert the tab, this metal tab for the Liftmaster in the bottom. There's a slot for that, but it won't go up all the way. It prevents me. You have to now, while you're holding tension on the cable, you depress this plunger. That allows me to put the tab in all the way and to pull it down. Now the piece of equipment, the Liftmaster 21XP, is now set and it is under normal conditions. So there's a few different ways that I can test this now. I can press the test button, which will be the first method that I'll do. The second method would be to simulate a fire alarm. I'll lift this wire the pink wire on terminal number 6 on the normally closed contacts, simulating the fire system going into an alarm, but it's going to do the same thing as pushing the test button. I'm going to remove the one wire of the resistor, and that's landed on terminals 3 and 4. So if I take terminal 4, pull out one side of the resistor, it won't drop, but it will just beep. And then the other method is to shut the power off. But the drawback of shutting the power off is that the door is going to drop immediately with no warning. When you do it with the test button and with the fire life safety system, it's going to beep for approximately 11 to 12 seconds, and then you're going to see this drop. So right now, I'm going to depress with my finger the test button. It'll be about 12 seconds, 11 to 12 seconds. Here we go. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, 6 1,000, 7 1,000, 8 1,000, 9 1,000, 10 1,000. And then you see that that dropped. I removed my finger from the test button. The fire alarm system is normal. The machine is not beeping at all, but we have dropped the door. If the door was up, the door would, at this point in time, drop. All right, so that's one method. Now I'm going to go through the same reset. Pull that up. I'm going to depress, put the tab in the slot, keep that tension, depress my plunger, hold that down. Now the door has been reset. Now I'm going to lift wire number 6. I got to put my headlight on because I can't. It's kind of dark up there. But I'm going to lift wire 6, and I'm going to pretend that the smoke alarm, or in this case, there's a heat detector on the inside. One of these two devices now goes into an alarm, and it's going to take this set of normally closed contacts, and it's going to open them. I'm going to simulate that by lifting wire number 6 on the terminal board. Here we go. You'll hear it start to beep, so you'll know when the wire is lifted. Okay, wire is lifted. You can hear the beeping. You know that this is going to take about 11 to 12 seconds. Boom, there it drops. Now, you notice the difference between hitting the power button and this method. This stays in alarm because your fire system is still in alarm. It's not going to stop that until this wire gets landed and that circuit is closed. So let me go ahead and do that right now. By the way, you cannot reset the door when this thing is beeping. So like the door, it's not, putting this in the tab will do nothing. You have to reset. So let me go up here and land that wire. There's no voltage here, it's a dry contact. Okay, the wire is landed, but I have to push the reset button on the side. I push the reset button. It reset. You heard it make one more beep after that, and now we're back to normal. I've got my power light is on here, and I just simulated, and now I can actually reset the door. Now that the fire system has been reset, I can reset my door, put this back up here, hold the plunger, hold that down, and now I'm reset again. All right, one more thing I'm going to do for you guys is we're going to kill the power. We're going to shut the circuit off that feeds the 120 volt to the transformer, which is going to kill the power to the Liftmaster. And then I'm going to show you what that looks like when you just lose power feeding into the Liftmaster. All right, my co-worker is going inside, and he is going to kill the power to this Liftmaster. Now watch what happens. Boom. You see that? So what happened was the LED is no longer on because there's no more power going to the Liftmaster, and there's no delay. You don't hear that 12-second delay, and it immediately will drop the door. That's what happens when you lose power to the Liftmaster 21XP. All right, so we have no power to the Liftmaster. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see if the Liftmaster will allow me to reset the door without power. I'm going to pull up my chip, take the tension off, put the tab in the slot, and yes, it will. It will allow me, even though there's no power going to the Liftmaster, I can still do a door reset under these conditions. So I'm just trying to show you all the different capabilities of the Liftmaster 21XP. All right, my co-worker is inside resetting the breaker, and now there we go, the red LED, we got a beep that the Liftmaster is back on. We had reset the door and it stayed reset. It did not drop the door, even though we just turned the power back on. So far I showed you several ways in which we can test the Liftmaster 21XP. Now, when it comes to these mechanisms as a whole, there's a few things that you need to take into consideration. Number one is how the fire system is going to communicate with the Liftmaster 21 XP. We got that identified. We know that we're using terminals 5 and 6 to make that interface. Number 2 is the chain. So when you come over here and you look at that chain mechanism that we have set up right there, you have to make sure that that chain is working as intended and that it is going to drop the door. Now that and you saw me drop that chain several times, so we know that that is working as intended. So we know we've got that identified. That's the second thing. Now the third thing is the door itself. Now we have to go and test the door to make sure that the door is going to do what we want it to do. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to test the door, normal operation with the key switch, just to make sure the door operates. Ray, go ahead and bring the door up. All right, so now we're just going to bring the door up, and we're just going to make sure that before we start doing our testing, that the door simply goes up, stops at the correct level, and then we're going to run the door down and make sure that it stops at the correct level. Okay, we're getting close. We're looking at the bottom lip, and we are good. We're in 100% position. All right, now we are going to do an actual drop test. The door is in the 100% top position. We have to close the door in 6 to 24 seconds. The door has to close. So my associate's going to get his cell phone, and once the door drops, he's going to start timing to see how many seconds it takes to drop. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push the test button, and then it's going to take about 12 seconds, and then you're going to see the chain is going to drop because the controller is going to tell it to drop. Then the drop sequence is going to start for the door. This is what controls the drop speed over here. I'll go into that. I'll show you, give you a good camera angle on this, but let's do the test first and let's see where we land. So here we go. Once I start, by the way, once I start pushing this, it's going to start beeping. So there's that noise level. When the door does the actual drop, it's also loud because this whole mechanism makes a loud noise. So here we go. We're going to jump into it right now. Okay. Looks like we were a little fast. We're dropping it at about 4 seconds. 6 seconds is the minimum. So this way, if there was a person underneath there, even though the thing is beeping, it potentially, the person may not have time to get out of the way. So what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can slow this door down and get it to, if we can get it to 10 seconds, that would be fantastic. Let me show you how we're going to accomplish that. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reset the door controller. So remember how I did that? I simply bring my chain up here, hold tension on that, depress the plunger, and now I reset that. All right, so what we're looking at here is the door control mechanism. You can see a big sprocket wheel here that's connected to the shaft for the roll-up door. Now, this is the chain linkage that's connected to our Liftmaster LM21XP. When you drop the chain here, this linkage is going to move in this arm, which has 2 teeth on it. You can see one of the teeth down here at the bottom and the other tooth up here at the top, which engages with this sprocket. But it doesn't engage fully. What it does is it bounces and it controls the rate of descent of the door. Now here are your adjustments. There are 2 adjustments. This is one adjustment right here where you can control how much this moves here to here, and the second adjustment is right here, and you can control how much that moves. So each of them will have different adjustments. Now let me show you what happens when I take the chain and I open that up, I'm going to show you, I'm going to hit the plunger mechanism over here on the side of the box and watch what happens over here. Okay, so you can see how this right here is communicating with this right here. This has how much this engages with this, and you can change that if you need to. You could change that bolt out for a longer bolt. You could run that bolt in right there, but this will have a change on how much the door drops, as well as this one right here. See this right here? See this when I move that with my finger and I come up with it? Do you see how it moves the sprocket away? So if I take this one and I drop it down a little bit, that should allow this to engage more with the teeth. That should slow the door down. So the first adjustment that I'll make will be on this one right here. We're going to take this one here and we're going to drop it down a few threads, and then we'll do another test and we'll time that out. All I did was I held the nut in place, I brought the set screw up, and you can see about how many threads I got there. I got about 3 or 4 threads. Not much. That looks like it's about 3/16 of an inch. I'm going to take this, I'm going to bring the nut down till the set screw bottoms out, right about there. And then I'm going to take my wrench and I am just going to tighten up on that set screw there so it does not move. We're going to bring the door up. Now that's locked in, so I just brought this down by about 3 or 4 threads. We're going to do another, we're going to bring the door back up, we're going to do another test, and we're going to see how many seconds it is. Okay, you can see we have not reset the controller yet. I dropped it because we dropped the door. Now I'm going to show you what happens if he tries to operate the key switch. Go ahead and operate the key switch to go up. And you see it's not working because we haven't engaged the Liftmaster. So we have to engage the Liftmaster the standard way so we can start to bring the door up. Now we're going to do another drop test. This time, instead of pushing the test button, I'm just simply going to release it by pushing the plunger button, because there's nobody under the door and I don't have to wait the 12 seconds. I need to immediately test it. And we're going to see how much time it takes. My coworker is going to time it, and I'm going to go ready in 3. What I'm going to do, this isn't the test. I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, drop. So on drop, that's when you start. 3, 2, 1, drop. Okay, now that was just about 6 seconds. All right, so I did make some headway by bringing that down. Let me see if I can get it closer to 10 seconds. So I'm going to make a couple more adjustments. All right, so what I did was I took this set screw here and I brought it back, and now you can see I went about 5 threads. And now I'm just going to take the lock nut, I'm going to tighten that up here, tighten that down with my wrench, and then we're going to do another test. The door has been back up. I've locked that down. We're going to do another drop test. We want to try to get this door closer to 10 seconds. That would be ideal. We're close to 6 seconds right now. The first adjustment I made was on the bottom set screw. On this one I made it on the top set screw, and I made it longer. So let's see if that slows the door down even more. We're going to do a 3, 2, 1 drop. I'm going to use the plunger so we don't have to wait the 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, drop. Oh, looks like that was actually worse. That was 5 seconds. So maybe I need to go the opposite direction on that top set screw. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that. Instead of going back, I'm going to go the other way, and let's just try that. Okay, so on this adjustment, I originally went that way, I made it longer, but that seemed to make the door drop faster. Now you see I've taken it and I've gone in this way dramatically. So let's see, and we'll do another test and we'll see what that does. We have the door raised up now. I'm going to do a 3, 2, 1 drop test again. Now that I've adjusted that top nut, let's see what this door does. We're going to time it again. 3, 2, 1, drop. Okay, in this case, this is a failed test. Please show the bottom of the door so they can see what happened. That is not acceptable, folks. You cannot have a door that does not reach the bottom sill flush. That is a failed test. Come back up to me. So I went too much. I slowed the door down so much that I created a situation where the door isn't dropping all the way. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to reset the door the standard way, and I'm going to take that set screw and I'm going to drive it out to try to get it more than 6 seconds but fully flush. And at that point in time, we're probably going to call it a day. All right, everybody, I brought the top set screw back out a little bit longer, and we're going to now do another drop test, and we're going to see how well we do. 3, 2, 1, drop. Okay, at that point in time, we have 6.4 seconds. 6.4. So it's more than 6. So I'm within code violation. This is the equipment is only, it's not going to give me 10 seconds. I would have enjoyed putting the door at 10 seconds, but the equipment's really not giving me the 10 seconds. We're within code. We're going to say that that's good. We'll do 1 or 2 more tests, and we are just going to see how that goes. Ray, keep it rolling. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how we do the door reset. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to reset my pin, my tab, into the LMX21. Now that's reset. Now we want to bring the door back up, do another test, but I have to depress this tab while he does the door open switch. So I'm holding the tab, you go ahead. Now, because I'm bypassing the tabs, he has to have his finger on the red button ready to shut that door off, because the door ain't going to stop on its own. So this is where the person has to now stop the door from traveling and ruining the controller or something. Okay, so we brought the door up. We can do one more test just to see how that goes. Are we up as high as we can? Can you bring it just a tad higher? Stop. Okay, that is chucked to the top. We're going to do one more drop test, and then we're going to show you guys how we set the limits, because then we have to put the door back to normal. So we're going to do a 3, 2, 1 drop. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, drop. Okay, so at that point in time, we're 6.6 seconds. I am not going to touch this door anymore. We are just making the bottom sill. Let's just go ahead and bring that camera over here and make sure we're touching. Oh, you know what? We have a failed test. I didn't realize it because I was up there, but come over here and look at this. It's still not up against the ground. I need this door to drop a little bit harder because I need that down all the way. So I might have to just live with the 6 seconds. I'm going to take that top set screw, I'm going to back it off a little bit more. We'll do another test. I have done my best to try to get this adjustment and this adjustment over here, and to try to get the door to drop consistently within 6 seconds, and I can't do it. We have it set currently. The door is dropping at 5 seconds reliably. So at this point in time, I've lost my patience, and we're 1 second out of code, and we're going to call it a day at this point in time. So I got the chain reset over here, so that Liftmaster is reset. Now we have to go and reset the limits, the actual limits, so we can get this door back to normal operation. Let me show you how to do that. Okay, so right now we know that the door is closed, and this limit on the left is the bottom door closer, and the limit on the right is the open door closer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to depress this depressor here, and I'm going to move the thumb wheel, the spline gear, and I'm going to move that over until that limit switch makes. At that point in time, and I'll test this a few times and I can always adjust it, but we're going to do that to get our limits in place. So I'm going to put the camera down for a second. Alright, now I've brought the lower limit down all the way until the switch made. Now I'm going to take the upper limit switch, and I know I can't, well, you know what, yeah, I can't leave it there while the door is traveling, because if I do, it's going to hit the limit switch. So what I want to do now is I'm going to hold this down and bring it somewhere over here, so this way when it's traveling up, then I can get it to shut off. Okay, so right now the door should be able to travel up, and I'll be watching this switch right here, and as we get closer I'll ask Ray to hit the red button. That way I can make sure that I don't over adjust. So Ray, go ahead and open the door. He's opening the door. You can see both limit switches are now moving this way to the right, and I want to make sure that this switch engages by the time the door gets to the top. That's what we're watching right now. The door is traveling up. Ray, get ready to hit the red button. And stop the door. Okay, so Ray stopped the door, but what I need to do is I need to see if that limit switch is engaged. Now listen as I hit it with my screwdriver. See, it wasn't engaged. It was close to being engaged, but it wasn't engaged. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold that down. I'm just going to travel that up a little bit, lock that into place, make sure both splines are locked. Ray, bring the door down about a foot. Hit the red button. Now go up and get ready to stop it, but let's see if the machine stops it automatically. Did you do that?
No.
Alright, so automatically the upper limit switch has stopped the door. The door is essentially open at its very top limit. I could adjust that if I wanted to. Let's just see if I want to make an adjustment here. It's funny how that door looks a little, almost, door looks a little funny because of the way that shroud is over there. But I don't think the door is crooked. Anyways, let's see, if I wanted the door to go up just a tad more, then what I need to do is I need this to engage a little bit later. Ray, go ahead and bring the door down about 2 feet. Stop right about there. Alright, so I want this to engage just a second later, so I'm going to hold this down and I'm going to bring the spline back just a little bit and now engage it. Alright, let the door go up and let's see where it stops. Go ahead, up. Okay, that's pretty much, I'm not going to push it. So that's the upper limit is completely set. Now we're going to verify the lower limit. Go ahead and bring the door down, please. Just going to bring the door down. You can see both the lower and upper limit spline gears are moving on this shaft right here. We have to see how it engages with that lower limit switch. And let's see how that does. I think that was pretty perfect. Let's just double check that. Yeah, the door is not buckling at all, and the door is completely seated. Let me come over here. You can see looking at it from a side profile. See how the door is not buckling at all? I think that we're perfectly good. We'll just run the door a couple more times off camera just to make sure that we're okay. So pretty much I gave you guys everything that there is to know about those Liftmaster LM21XPs, all about this mechanism here. I wish I could make the door drop in 10 seconds, but I could not do it by adjusting my two things there, and I got fed up. So we're at 5 seconds. We're 1 second out of code. So don't listen to what I'm saying, Mr. Inspector. All right, so pretty much that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you got some valuable information about this video. If you haven't done so already, smash that like button down, subscribe to my channel. I will catch you on the flip side.